Hey, good morning, kiddos. It is Monday, so we are back to class today, at least our class from home. Today we're going to be doing a new topic with fractions for multiplication of fractions. I think you guys are going to catch on pretty quickly, and I guess we'll get started. So here's my mug for today. It's my one from when I went to Dallas last summer. So that's good to go. I'm all set on Google Classroom. I've got lots of directions for you to follow there and some things to be working on. So we'll get started right on the lesson for today. So really all you have to do is just kind of follow along with me. This would be like if I had the Mimeo in front of the class and we were working on things together. The only thing is you're not going to have a sheet to work along with me unless you want to grab a piece of paper and you can kind of do the work as I'm doing it too. So you get a little practice, or you can just watch the video. So again, today's main lesson is like, how do we multiply fractions? And so the way that we start this is we think about, it says, if we had to come up with a math story of 5 times 4 equals 20. So that'd be like, okay, I have 5 chocolate bars and I go buy 4 times as many chocolate bars as I have already. So that's 5 times 4 more times. So how many chocolate bars do I have altogether? 5 chocolate bars, 4 times as many chocolate bars is 20 chocolate bars, right? So all I had to do is take 5 times 4 equals 20. And then if I was going to do a tape diagram, well, here's 5 chocolate bars. And if I get 4 times as many, 5, 5, 5. So I've got 4 times chocolate bars, 5, 10, 15, 20. That would give me 20 chocolate bars. Okay, so that's the basic idea that leads us into fractions, because we do the same exact things with fractions, and that's what this third problem is. It says, think about the following multiplication problem, 5 times 1/4. Well, if I had 1/4 on my tape diagram, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. I'm taking 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 5 times. So that's 5 times. So if I had this, I know by counting all these up, I've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4. So 5 times 1/4 equals 5/4. And I bet some of you right away can see a pattern and go, 5 times 1/4. Well, it looks like I took 5 times 1 and kept the denominator, just like we were doing when we were adding fractions, except this time we're multiplying them. And you would be right. So all you do is with your whole number, you multiply that times the numerator. 5 times 1 is 5. Keep the 4. I'm not going to do 5 times 4 is 20, because we learned that when we were adding. And I've got my real fraction then of 5/4, and you guys know that we don't want to leave an improper fraction like this. So 5/4 turns into, well, 4/4 is 1 whole, so I can take 1 whole out, and then I have 4/4 to 5/4. There's 1/4 left over, so that actually equals 1 1/4. So 5 times 1/4 equals 5/4, or 1 1/4. And this is kind of how you draw it out with a tape diagram. All right, so this says, here's a word problem diagram to help you solve the problem. So Miguel walks 1/4 of a mile from his school to his home each day. How many total miles does he walk in 5 days? So 1/4 of a mile, so we'll get back to FBs here. How many total miles does he walk in 5 days? He walks 1/4 of a mile a day, and he wants to do 5 days. So your problem is really going to be 1/4 times 5 equals x. When we have our exponent, and we just did the work on the other page, so I'm not going to redo it. But if I did a tape diagram, I'd split it all out. Looks like I am redoing it. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. There's 5 1/4. That's 5/4 altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/4, and equals 1 1/4 miles. So if I was going to do this right way in a complete sentence answer, Miguel walks 5 1/4 miles in 5 days. Okay. All right, Yuritsa drinks a 1/4 pint of water each hour. How many pints of water does she drink in 5 hours? All right, so to me, it kind of looks like it's the same thing. She drinks for 5 hours. She drinks 1/4 of a pint every hour. 1/4 times 5. And again, I'd come up with the same answer that I had before with my tape diagram. I'd have 5 1/4, and I would just take and multiply that out. And I know that's going to equal 1 1/4 pints of water that she would drink in 5 hours. Okay. And then were the diagrams you drew for 5 times 4 equals 20 different from those you drew for 5 times 1/4? Well, they were and they weren't. They each had 5 parts, right? And then as we go through them, the only difference is that instead of multiplying the whole number 4, I'm multiplying a fraction of a fourth. So 5 times 4 equals 20. 5 times 1/4 equals 1 1/4. So that's basically it. So what you can do is you can kind of look at a fraction multiplication either as like addition, right? Because when I look at these problems up here, I would get 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. If I was adding all these up, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4. I'd get 5/4. Or I could just simply say, there's 5 1/4 that I'm going to multiply all together. So 5 times 1 is 5 in my numerator. Bring my denominator over, and I've got fourths. Now, the other way that I guess you could look at it too is that how many fourths is 5 wholes? Well, 5 wholes, so 4/4 is 1 whole. So if I have 4/4 times 5, that's 20/4 times 1/4. 20 times 1 is 20, and then the 4's come over. How many 4's going to 20? That equals 5. I guess it's another way you can think about it. I don't want to confuse you by saying, what did you do for that one? As long as you understand that repeated addition of fractions and multiplication of fractions by a whole number are really the same thing. I'm taking 5 1/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I get 5/4, or 5 times 1/4 is still going to be the same thing. That's the whole lesson for today, is just recognizing that repeated addition and multiplication fractions really get you the same answers, okay? So that's going to be the first part of today's lesson. So I'm going to stop this video and I am going to send this off so you guys can watch this part. And there's going to be another part that's going to come shortly.